in your life ever, have you ever been lost? It doesn't take much to get lost, does it? One wrong turn. And have you ever heard of the maxim, the power of 1 degree? The power of 1 degree is that if you're off course by just 1 degree, in the beginning it doesn't matter. Because if you're off by just 1 degree, after about 3 minutes of traveling, you can do what? Course correct and just shift over, right? But what happens as the course continues? Does the 1 degree difference get further and further apart? So the longer you're going in the wrong direction, or the direction that's just not intended, the more difficult it's going to be to get back to where you were headed. So imagine that you were in New York City, leaving from New York Harbor and headed to London. If you're off by 1 degree, are you going to end up in London? No. You might end up, if it's south, you might end up in Morocco, which is not a bad place to be. I mean, I would like to go to Morocco. I don't know about you. So for the sake of convenience, we'll say for packing, we'd want to stay on course. Now, there was years ago that I was on a road trip, and I was leaving North Carolina. I was leaving Charlotte, the town where I grew up. I was extremely confident where I was headed back home to Atlanta because I've driven that course several times. And knowing Charlotte quite well, the roads are familiar to me. And so I got in the car and I headed on my way. And I'm not proud to say that I stopped several times to get gas, to get water, to stretch my legs, and still ended up at the border to Virginia, which, if you know your geography, is the exact wrong, opposite direction. So this was not off by 1 degree. This was off by how much? 180. So the point is, be careful, be mindful, watch, because if you don't watch where you're headed, you might get where you're going. If you don't watch where you're headed, you might get where you're going.